Hey, welcome to this week's Credit Corner. Super excited to talk about this week's topic, and that topic is why credit repair doesn't work. And you can kind of think people in this space would be shocked to tell you why it doesn't work, but I'm going to tell you the two main reasons why it doesn't work. Why credit repair companies aren't successful. And the main reason credit repair companies aren't successful is because the disputes that they generate rarely get processed, and we'll dive into a little bit of why that is. Right, most of the time, if the credit repair company isn't located near or where the consumer is located, the letters being generated from a different postal code than the consumer resides, and the bureaus can track that and they can see that. Also, too, the mail, when they mail that out, some credit repair companies are using mail services that they're shipping or emailing all their letters over. They're all printed out and they come out and are routed and come show up at the bureau in a big chunk of 100 letters, right? But there's several different reasons and things that the bureaus do in order to try to identify third-party disputes. And if the bureau identifies a third-party dispute, they're going to ignore it. This became huge impact during the pandemic and post-pandemic. I feel like the bureaus have created some bad habits during the pandemic, whether that be due to staffing or what. But you haven't seen that come back either, right? But it's because they're looking at those letters and they are determining that they're coming from a third party. And if they're coming from a third party, they are not processing the dispute. The second thing is if they can get past the bureau's e-Oscar, which is the system it uses in order to electronically recognize and scan in the data, and if they can sneak it by e-Oscar on what they are disputing, or that they is not a third-party dispute and doesn't get rejected solely based on those reasonings, is what they're actually challenging, right? And getting the first round or the first initial dispute to be processed isn't the toughest. So they kind of get one bite at the apple. But their argument is they're going to keep working for you over and over and over until they get your results. But the problem with that is if they don't change what they're challenging each time, the bureau only has to do one investigation, right? The FCRA states that you have up 30 days to notify the consumer of the status of the dispute, up to 45 days to complete the investigation. I think a lot of people hear like, oh, it's 30 days. Technically, it's 45. They have 45 days to complete it, but they've got to notify you of the status of the dispute inside of 30 days. The other thing that I think is I'll talk a little bit about too is how long it takes to process that. It really isn't a long process if you can get your disputes processed by the bureaus, because it shouldn't take 30 or 45 days for those results to get back. Typically 1 to 2 days, and the furnisher's responded, if the furnisher is going to respond. If the furnisher is slow in responding or fails to respond at all, that's where you see it take the longer 30 days, because the bureaus aren't snail mailing in which the consumers do. It's a letter that you get disputed is converted to a two-digit code that's created and input onto an ACDV form that's then sent to the data furnisher, right? But that's why normal credit repair doesn't work. Is one, the bureaus ignore letters that they believe to have come from a third party, and two, changing what they're challenging, because the bureaus only actually have to investigate once. So if you're not asking them to investigate something different or providing new information in your second and your third and your fourth attempts at trying to gain a deletion, you're just not going to get the bureaus to do anything. As I say that, I'll tell you why it works where we're at. We had over 30% of our clients year to date that have come in from a statistical standpoint, came to us for credit repair, and had a bureau fail to do an investigation or had a furnisher fail to comply with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and those consumers left with money. They came to us in order to improve their credit score and left with a check from a furnisher or one of the bureaus for failing to comply with the law. So, can the credit repair process work? Absolutely, and it does. But if you're not using a law firm to do that, or as a consumer, if you're not disputing it and understanding the process and then hiring a law firm to go after the people that don't comply with the law, that credit repair process isn't going to work, right? So, hopefully, I want to tell you the two main reasons why credit repair companies aren't successful. Again, it is that they can't get their letters processed through the bureaus because they're a third party in the way in which they're delivering the letters. And then secondly, if even if they get past that point, if they're not changing what they're challenging or providing new information, the bureau is only going to investigate that once, right? So our process is completely different. Me or someone at our company would love to talk with you about the process, whether you're a consumer or a loan officer, and let us explain how our credit repair process works and how you can refer a client to us, and that client can get items deleted from their credit report, an increase in their credit score, and a check deposited to the bank account. So, hope you guys have a great week this week. Again, reach out with any questions involving credit reports. We're here to help, and we'll see you next Monday. Thanks.